What you didn't know about sex until it happened. I knew that condoms could slip off, but I didn't know they could slip off and disappear inside my vagina. I found out about this last Tuesday. I never thought something like that could happen. My boyfriend pulled out his hose and was surprised, wondering where the condom went. I looked and realized it was lost inside my vagina. That penises can grow so much when men get aroused. I always thought that for men who were generously endowed by nature, everything just hung in their pants the same size as during sex. Only when I first saw my boyfriend's flaccid penis did I realize I was wrong. It shrank so much that the sensations in the G-spot area are very different from other parts of the vagina. When I first explored my vagina with my fingers, I suddenly found a spot where the sensations were unlike anything else. It was incredibly cool, so my fingers stayed there for a long time. That condoms for prolonged pleasure wouldn't be bought by anyone if their names were more honest, like condoms with anesthetic that make your penis numb. It's pretty hot in there. I swear you could roast a hot dog inside a vagina. A colleague at my old job told me how he lost his virginity. He inserted his penis, immediately pulled it out, told the girl it felt like an oven or a furnace, and sent her away. It seemed like he was even proud of his actions. He hadn't had any girlfriends before that, and he hasn't since either. Sex in the shower isn't just risky. I've never taken such a risk as when I tried to hold a girl upright against a wall. Sometimes girls start trembling when they reach orgasm. When I was still an inexperienced teenager giving oral sex to a girl and she started shaking, it really freaked me out. She threw her head back, and her whole body trembled for a few seconds. I was sure demons were about to fly out of her vagina. The sexy moans in movie sex scenes sound so sensual. In real life, it's somewhat similar, but sometimes the moans turn into something downright terrifying. I remember when I first had sex with my then boyfriend, he said my vagina was too tight. After a few thrusts, air built up inside my vagina and made a scary sound. I was so embarrassed. He looked at me and asked, "Was that an orgasm?" I burst out laughing. Sex can cause leg cramps. What a nightmare. One moment you're enjoying sex with a beautiful woman, and the next, you're screaming in pain, thrashing on the other side of the bed, and crying. The muscle pain can be worse than anything in the world. Damn those leg cramps. That vaginas aren't bottomless, and the position of the cervix changes throughout the cycle. I didn't even know I had a cervix until I heard about it. During menstruation, the cervix is positioned deeper, but at other times, it's not as deep. You can check this yourself by feeling its position with your finger every few days. Here's a conversation I had with two different guys, not at the same time. "Could you ease up a bit? You're hitting my cervix, and it hurts." "You're what?" "The cervix, further in. I can feel some kind of opening." "Yeah, there's an opening there, that's right." "Can I try to go into it?" "Never do this. Don't even think about it. That holding back an orgasm is much harder than holding back urine. That male semen isn't as viscous as I thought. I always imagined it was like glue or maple syrup, but no, it's just very slippery, which is even worse when you try to wash it off in the shower. That the skin on a penis moves. I thought a penis was like a finger, for example, and was surprised to learn that the skin moves too. That during doggy-style sex, the partner can see my anus. When I found out about this, I felt embarrassed about the hair my partners might have seen. I only recently realized this, and it hit me that my boyfriend, who I've been with for 2 years, has been staring at the hair around my anus this whole time and never said a word. I'm so lucky with him. That sex has way less magic than I thought, but later, with experience, I realized it can bring much more pleasure than I expected. How amazing it feels to orgasm inside another person. That after rough anal sex, if the guy finishes inside you, you should try to go to the bathroom almost immediately. Otherwise, you'll lie in bed thinking you're about to fart, but instead, a hellish mix of lube, semen, and poop will come out, ending up on the bedsheets. If the hotel maid where you were getting it on decides to quit, it's your fault. Anal sex requires following all the rules, or you'll face unpleasant consequences. When girls get aroused, they can produce so much lubrication that you might think it's semen. The first time I had sex in the dark, I could barely see anything. The second time, I inserted my friend, and when I pulled out, it looked like it was covered in glue. I was shocked and thought, when did I finish? That it's very, very wet inside a vagina. I didn't know that two naked bodies rubbing against each other could heat up to such high temperatures. I always dreamed of lying naked with a girl for hours, but in reality, after 10 to 20 minutes, I start sweating profusely, forcing me to roll over to my side of the bed. An orgasm from sex is much better than one from masturbation. Also, bodies get very slippery, which is the biggest downside of sex. It's so annoying. At the start of the act, you need to be very gentle with girls, or it'll hurt, and it'll hurt a lot. Influenced by adult films, I always thought the sausage would know how to enter a girl correctly and bring her to orgasm while giving me pleasure too. The sounds of wet bodies rubbing against each other, they make fart-like noises. If you enter the vagina at the wrong angle, air pockets can form, and when you pull out, it might sound like someone farted. Sometimes partners actually fart in those moments. A sense of humor and the ability to laugh at yourself help avoid awkwardness. I always thought it was the woman's job to guide the penis into her vagina. I hovered over her and waited. She looked at me in surprise. I asked her to put my hose in herself. She said, "You're a grown-up, you can handle it." The vagina is much lower than I expected. I didn't know, writes a girl, that men want sex less often than I do. Several of my partners and a couple of male friends said their girlfriends want sex more often than they do. Maybe my friends' girls and I are just weird, or maybe this is a trait of all women that's rarely talked about. I'm quite satisfied with my sex life, but I always feel like I want sex more often than men. Am I the only one? No, you're not alone. I used to think I was abnormal, but then I realized it's because I was always told men constantly want sex. I often have to remind myself that's nonsense. Sometimes they want it, sometimes they don't. We live in a golden age where adult content is freely available. In the world I grew up in, there was no way to watch anything, though I saw pictures. I knew everything about sex and physiology, but what I didn't know was how to handle it all. I didn't know you had to go in and out, in and out. After many failed attempts, I finally met a girl who was okay with doing it with me. Neither of us really knew what to do. After a few minutes of clumsy foreplay, she got on top of me, and I entered her. When she lifted up, I grabbed her hips with all my strength to keep my friend inside her. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't pull it out. She turned one way, then the other, but I turned with her. My penis was stuck in her vagina like it was glued. It was so embarrassing. If you give one girl a good orgasm, a surprising number of girls will suddenly want to hook up with you and enjoy the whole process. Being a girl, I definitely didn't expect my first sexual experiences to bring me so much pain. Honestly, I wasn't prepared for it at all. I thought the first time would only bring pleasure. I didn't expect that my partner's orgasm would bring me more pleasure than my own. That sex during menstruation happens much more often than I thought. I didn't know naked women were so soft. I think the fear of hurting a woman comes from how fragile they seem without clothes, like plush toys. I didn't know you had to wash off semen. I thought you just left it there, and it disappeared on its own. As a kid, I thought a man and woman just slept in the same bed naked, and the next morning they woke up feeling like their bodies had somehow had sex. The act lasts shorter than in adult films. I thought I'd meet model-like girls, but they'd be too cool for me, and I'd fall madly in love with girls of average appearance. I thought sex was about sleeping all night with a penis inside a vagina. I lost my virginity at 17, what an idiot I was. I didn't know that after an orgasm, arousal completely disappears, at least for men. That the first time is so awkward and quick. My second time lasted 3 times longer. My first time lasted a long time because I was trying so hard to do everything right that I forgot it was all about reaching orgasm. I just kept going, thinking, oh my god, I'm having sex, and it doesn't seem like she dislikes it. After a while, I thought, wait, I'm supposed to finish too, let's do this. I was so clumsy, and in the end, I was a bit disappointed, though the fact that I was no longer a virgin made me very happy. My first time without a condom was a turning point in my life. I think men who aren't ready to have kids should be banned from feeling the difference. But Mother Nature is very clever. Even simple positions like missionary require good physical fitness and stamina. And some idiots sometimes ruin all the fun. That an erect penis can twitch. The morning after I lost my virginity, I was drinking coffee with my mom and blurted out, "Mom, a penis is like it has a mind of its own and moves however it wants." My mom nearly choked on her coffee, laughed, and replied in the same tone, "Exactly, I'm still amazed by it." I love my mom. If there's not enough lubrication, it hurts not only the woman but also the man, and it hurts a lot more. Sex without foreplay is like sliding down an icy hill with no ice, it's very unpleasant. Partners rarely finish simultaneously, but when it happens, it's amazing. It's not always as easy to enter as it looks in adult films. Sometimes you have to be very gentle. Most girls don't sound like porn actresses. Those sweet, high-pitched moans, when girls orgasm, they sound more like a werewolf's howl. The first time it happened to me, I was shocked that a girl 150 centimeters tall could make such a sound. For a second, I thought I was with a lumberjack. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new, super interesting discussions. In the meantime, check out our other videos.